This is Adventure on Purpose, the podcast where we relate adventure to real life and real life to adventure. I'm one of your co-hosts, Mike, the burly bow hunter. Also on the mic is Danny, the adventurous goal crusher, Kel, the happy camper, and Lee, the crusty craftsman. Tune in to help us remember our why, and maybe you rekindle yours.
So you guys were on a little walk and you met someone that was super awesome?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we were doing our excursion that we have. Kel came up with this idea to do the whole Superior hiking trail. I think we've talked about it before. We wanted to do the whole Superior hiking trail before our daughter's first birthday. And we were going through one of the only sections in the whole thing that go through the city most of the time.
Like on pavement.
On pavement, yeah. And we met this gentleman that was, Kel was actually feeding Millie. We were sitting on a bench overlooking Lake Superior. And
so first off, we haven't seen a lot of people
yeah
in a lot of a long time with coronavirus and little baby. So when we were on this well-traveled path, this section is well-traveled, we were like, hi. Like saying hi to everyone. So yes, then keep going.
Yeah. So we're saying hi to anyone and everyone.
But everyone, we'll say this gentleman that we talked to, he said everyone was very kind of standoffish, and just because coronavirus, people are scared. It seems like they don't want to say hi because they're gonna get too close or something.
Yeah. So I randomly looked to the left. Every once in a while, I looked to the left when someone was going by, and I saw this older guy going by, and he made eye contact. I usually only say it if someone makes eye contact. I'll just give them a smile, say hi or something. And this guy made eye contact, and I just smiled and said hi, and kind of looked away for a second. He goes, you are.
He said, I'm from around here, and I just walked 4 miles, and you're the first person that said hi. And then he went on to say, strange times.
Yeah, so you never know if you're out on a hike or on a walk who you're going to run into if you just say hi.
That's funny because our last week episode was all about saying something different or even just saying hi. So that's funny that it actually happened to you guys the next week.
Yeah. We talked about the basic, even down to the basics of that. Like you're saying, we just saying hi.
Yeah, but, and hi is super different when nobody's talking to anybody.
Yeah. Yes. And see, that was so interesting for us to hear from him, because us, when we were saying hi to everyone, we didn't really realize that
they weren't really saying it.
You smile, you usually get a smile. We were actually getting smiles back, but it was
or we didn't realize that nobody else was initiating.
Yeah, there you go. So that was pretty funny.
Anyways, so this guy, he was probably in his 70s or something.
Mm-hmm.
How did he start this thing?
Well, we wanted to talk about this guy on the podcast because he is a businessman, big time businessman in the area, by what he said,
And Adventure on Purpose, he sounded pretty adventurous.
Oh yeah, love to travel.
He's been a lot of places. He talked in German.
Yeah. Just a very adventurous guy. And so what was his business?
He sells kitchenware and kitchen supplies to restaurants and big businesses.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, and that hasn't been his only gigs along the way, but this is kind of has been his main staple. And yeah, he imports stuff from Canada, he imports stuff from Europe. It was super cool to hear that side of it. But we wanted to talk to you guys about like these 4 points, like 4 points that he really honed in on during the conversation. Like he just really like emphasized these 4 things each time, because he did maybe have a little bit of memory loss.
Yeah, so he repeated a couple things and I figured he had some memory loss, but then I was like, those things are like the things he really wanted to get across.
Yeah. And which is awesome for like me. I love that. A little.
One more time?
Yeah, one more time. What was it?
Yeah. Go back to the first thing.
Yeah. But that was kind of what we want to talk about that on the podcast. Bring up some of his points. See if you guys, the listeners, can have some or takeaways from that. Our daughter is distracting us because
she slipped through the pillow.
She slipped all the way down. What are those, like half donut pillows?
Oh yeah.
She's like,
but she looks fine.
And her neck's like this, saying, "Oh, hello."
She's trying to listen a little closer.
I'm just gonna leave her. Yeah. Should we just leave her? Okay. Yeah, I think, but we really think that people can get some takeaways from this, especially if you want to get into business, or if you are in a business, or just general. Let's just life things.
Start it off. This is how you know what this guy was like. One of his lines was, "Work for yourself, and you'll not work another day, because it's all work." Mm-hmm. It's kind of like having a baby. It's all work, but it's yours. So, put that into perspective.
Which as you guys know, like when you are working or doing the thing that you want to do, it doesn't necessarily feel like work, but it is happening all the time. Like you're always in it. And
always thinking about it. Always.
Yeah, which to some people do like the 9 to 5 job where they don't have to think about it when they're gone. Mm-hmm. But his thing is, if you actually really truly enjoy it, whatever it is, it's not going to feel like it. Mm-hmm. Which, we've probably heard that before, but he just kind of said it.
But I think maybe for me, it really related it to a baby, because at the stage we're at in life, it's like, wow.
That was the impressive thing about him, though, too, is he had those. He could relate. Like he would ask questions that would relate to the person, or figure out what we had going in our life, and then he would kind of bring his main talks or his main points into that.
See how he could sell those kitchens.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so that was kind of the story of how we got to talking with him. But what's our first point? Oh, here you go.
Oh, he said this a couple times, that all things and all debts are negotiable. But maybe you want to extend on that.
Well, I really like that. He was talking mainly about mortgages, any business loans, those things. He said quite literally, if you go bankrupt, or if anything goes wrong with your business, you can negotiate. Like banks and loan money lenders are going to they will take some money rather than no money. There was just so many, or he gave so many examples on if it gets down to it, if you get to that point, there is ways to negotiate. And I just love that, because you can think about that with anything, you know, if you are going the business route or mainly business route, I would say you can negotiate just about anything. But
they probably like that. I mean, like, not many people probably negotiate.
Yeah.
Like what's, you know, like
No.
banks and stuff.
And this applies, actually, this is really interesting because this applies a lot to even work. Like the 9 to 5. Like if that's what you want to do and you want to kind of work your way up, like everything's a negotiation. I think a lot of people are stuck in the mindset that like they're in control and what they offer is what you get, and they just kind of accept it. And I think that it's like the fear of like, well, if you push back, then you'd never get anything. But in fact, the transaction will still go through. It's just a matter of like finding the middle ground where you both agree versus just letting them, you know, just accepting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part as someone who is in a 9 to 5. That's a hard part to grasp because it's easy for the business because they've probably done so many negotiations, you know, whatever business you work for, that they've probably done so many negotiations and are kind of used to that. And they might be actually taken aback by someone who says, hey, can you work with me here? I think the main or the struggle there would be the person actually wanting to ask, you know, getting over that hurdle.
I think 'cause in so many circumstances where like it's like engraved to like bow down, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't offer any of your
Yeah.
And that's I was gonna say, like when I sent you guys about the bill for having a kid, like I've heard a lot about medical bills and stuff. Like if you actually call and say, hey, can I get I don't know how you ask, but like get a reduction on my bill, or you know, like I was surprised the amount of times that they actually do reduce it somehow, because no one calls. Like I feel like the percentage of people that actually ask is so low that like if you do actually ask, they might do it.
They're like impressed.
Right. But it's like scary, and you got to know like what to say
and you might not talk to the right person, you know, at first too. You might run into someone who has never experienced that before and just completely says no right away. But then if you go maybe further up the chain or just talk to someone else, you might get a different response.
Yeah. And that's why, like in a 9 to 5, like that's why you shouldn't be fearful of asking, because a lot of times the people that are hiring don't have the approval to negotiate. You have to ask, and then they have to go ask someone else anyway.
Yeah.
And which is funny because you think that person is just going to say no right away, and they're like, well, I guess I don't know. Let me ask.
Yeah.
Mikey, when you asked to go remote with OnX, how was that conversation?
Well, and it kind of stemmed from asking in the first place on when I got offered a full-time job, where I kind of broke the ice a little bit on like not being necessarily too scared of like pushing back on stuff. And so like when they offered me the job and they said, it's this much, this benefits. And I said, I think you can do better than that. They usually like that. They actually would rather you know what you're worth versus just accepting.
Yeah.
Because that means you're paying attention.
Yes.
And usually you're not going to, nobody gets off better than the other in the end with the negotiation. Like nobody's like, oh, I really dominated that. Like you meet in the middle. Like you don't like just like get everything you want, and they don't lose everything.
And I think if that doesn't happen, sometimes the person who is the employee, a lot of the times, you start resenting if you don't, right from the gate, ask for a little bit more or whatever. There has to be some give and take there.
Yeah, and you got to have points to say, well, because of this, this, and this is why this is my value. Like, if you can show that you have value to give, then there's no reason not to meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. And
which is...
Yeah, and if you don't, if you are someone who's just like asking just to, you're not bringing any value, it's kind of hard to, yeah.
And I was reading a lot on negotiations when I was about to get a job, because that's kind of where I've learned over a few jobs now. It's like, they don't care. They are going to try to get the least amount for you. Like, that's just good business. Like, why would you overpay for someone that's willing to do it for less?
Yeah.
Like, that's just simple. And so, and that's where I've always kind of negotiated, but like, I found like you can be a little bit more stern and a little bit more like your own business. Like, you need to treat it like you're the business, not you're just an employee.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Like, you're the one that's, you're giving customer service by working a lot of hours and helping them do something they don't have to do. And yeah, it's actually quite amazing. I was looking into it, and like, I don't know the exact numbers, but I was reading a guy that like helps teach people how to negotiate in job roles. And basically is a big gap in wages between men and women, because he said that like men are more likely to negotiate. So he was trying to say like women should really try to actually negotiate more than they think they should.
Yeah.
Because and that's the point. Like, it's not the point of inequality. It's the point of they're just trying to get somebody for the least amount. That's it. They don't care your race. They don't care your gender. They don't care any of that. They're getting you the least amount that they can.
That makes sense.
So
yeah.
You gotta. Yeah.
And then further to add on to that, as a woman too, you might like honestly have a better chance too of getting or of convincing that person,
because they're impressed they did it.
Yeah, exactly. They're impressed, and yeah.
So if anything out of this, like, just feel empowered to negotiate stuff. Negotiate not just like a new job, but negotiate like raises. Like, when they say, well, we're going to give you this raise, well, don't let them just, this is what businesses are really good at. And maybe this is good for both parties listening, but like, businesses are really good at like, they know how much to give in terms of raises to like keep people happy, but they do it in a way that they're in control. So you have to like make sure to like stop and say, hold on, before this goes through, why is it this number? Like, why can't it be X number? Because they try to be very scheduled and very like, this is how much we can give. And they're not expecting people to say no.
Yeah.
And they make it really hard for people to say no, because they do it in ways like businesses will wait till last minute to give you a raise or give you a job, and they do that because then they have the advantage. It's like the first negotiating tactic ever. So like, they're already ahead, so you have to really like throw a curveball in there.
Yeah, disrupt it a little bit. Yeah.
Sorry, we kind of got off the original question.
That was good.
I really like that.
But then when I went remote, I've had the confidence to say, I'm going remote. I didn't even really tell them, hey, can I go remote? Because you kind of have to say, don't ask for a no, is another thing. Don't say you're willing to bend. Like, you have to say, this is what I'm doing. Because if you have a plan, then they're like, oh, well, we don't have to figure out the problem. Because if you go, yeah,
and then,
yeah, because when you come to someone and say, all right, I'm struggling, I'm moving, you know, can I do this? And then they're going to say, well, no. Because you asked them for a no.
Yeah.
But if you approach it as, well, hey, this is our goal in life. This is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. This is the time frame. They have a hard time saying no. Like, it's pretty much like, well, crap.
It's already decided. Yeah.
Yeah. It's much harder to hire and train someone new than to bend a little bit for someone else.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I just did that too.
That's that. I was just going to say, that's similar to what Kella just experienced as well.
So I approached it like, either you're going to accept what my plan is, or I'm out forever. So really just laid her out there.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so it was like a do you need me or do you don't?
Do you want me or not?
Yeah.
Did they come back with an answer?
Yeah, they accepted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the point. I think a lot of people are afraid that they're just gonna say, well, no, you're fired. And businesses can't do that. They can't say that. Because you're looking out for your best interest, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, that was good.
So,
I was just gonna move on to the next one, unless you.
No, that's a really cool point that guy brought up.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All things. I think his was more towards debt, right?
Yeah.
But I just kind of added all things in there because I just,
it can be used.
It can be, yeah. So then his next advice was, don't have a business plan. Have a plan for every failing part of your business or what can go wrong. So what he means by this is study the negatives. Study, like, whatever can happen to your business if say, I don't know, what's a good example?
If there's a business in your realm that's like thriving, don't even think about it. Like,
it might be okay to look at it. Like, I'm sure everyone looks at how they came up and all that jazz, but that kind of just that happens.
Yeah.
But if no one studies, like, if it fails or if COVID happens or if these crazy things happen, they don't necessarily study what could we do if this happens, what could we do if this happens,
so that you can come out of it.
Yeah, so that you can come out of it and end, or maybe even excel, in the end, get even higher. But just to add to that quick before, he recommended a book along with that. So this is kind of our number 4, but it goes along with this. He recommended a book called How to Save Your Business by Arnold Goldstein. And that was kind of one of the main points behind that is don't have a business plan, have a failure plan.
So then I asked him at the end, I don't think he answered, but I asked him, I was like, so did you plan for this year? What did he say? He didn't answer. I don't think he heard me.
No, I don't think he
But I'm pretty sure he planned for COVID 2020.
Yeah, because
he was happy and...
Yeah.
How do you think you plan for failures? Like, just thinking of ways that you think you might fail, or did he give any advice about that?
See, that's why he referred us to this book, I guess. But one of his thoughts on that was, one quote from the book that he kept saying was, "Don't worry about paying your lawyer, your creditors will." So it's almost like you're setting up fail safes for your business. So I guess, I don't know, it'd be good to take some examples somehow, but.
So I think what he did, he mentioned that back when he was younger and starting out, he was very conservative in like all fronts of his business. So I think that in general, just like he didn't like try to go too much in any category. Mm-hmm. So that like probably kept him in the safe route.
Yeah. And I think even down to like, what do I do if I go bankrupt? Mm-hmm. You know, like, what do you do? Like, does anyone know? You know, like, right. What are the next steps after you go bankrupt, or after you know, you're actually under on the amount that you're making with your business rather than over. You want to grab her? Yeah. But yeah, it's like very basic things that that you run into. Like, what if we go bankrupt? What if a catastrophe happens? What if we go into another war? I think it's more things like that, you know.
Or like planning for an employee that is not doing good for you anymore. Like, how do you get out of that situation? And
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Which is, you know, studying. I'm sure you got to study with that. You'd have to study how, or maybe even practice firing someone, or mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, you know. It's just good to think about, I guess, for when, you know, when these things do occur.
Right.
So then our third one was, or the third one he said was, read the Wall Street Journal every day.
Interesting.
Yeah, read it every day. He said, because there's things on woodworking in there, there's things on business in there, there's all sorts of things, and if you pay attention to it, you can use any of those things to improve your business mindset.
He said to ask yourself, what do I know, before you start reading, then read, and then ask yourself, all right, what do I know?
What do I know after? Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You guys ever read the Wall Street Journal?
Never.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what's funny is you can tell that he's older, because he's like, go to the public library. It's free. We're like, it's probably online, huh?
Yeah.
It's gotta be online.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes I get more out of reading from an actual hard copy thing.
Or you'll do it for longer, maybe.
Yeah. Or like going to the library and actually like sitting in one of those chairs and reading.
Yeah.
Because it like sets you up like you're in a different zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're no distractions, nothing else.
But
just the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
So he told us a story too about the Wall Street Journal, and how old was this girl? 12 or some little girl mm-hmm. that came into the store and was like the picture perfect geeky girl with glasses, kind of like you could tell she got like made fun of.
Yeah, made fun. Wait, so that's
at school and whatever. And so he's like, how would you like to work for me? 2 hours a week. Was it $10 an hour?
Yeah.
And she like lit up, because he like did the math and was like, so that would add up to be
this amount
for the year. And she, like, little girl was like, oh my gosh, that much? And was like so excited. And what did he say? But we have a contract with your parents. You can't miss. If you miss one, it's done. Like, no money.
Yeah.
And so then she's like, okay. And then she didn't even know what the job was. And then turns out she showed up, and her job was he made her read the Wall Street Journal. We should ask him. I wonder what she ended up doing.
Yeah, so he would have her read the Wall Street Journal for 2 hours each time that she showed up.
And paid her.
Wow.
And paid her that.
That's so cool.
One of how he kind of asked her though originally was, do you want to be the coolest?
Oh, do you want to be
the smartest? You want to be the smartest kid in your class?
Yeah.
So that was kind of his hook for her.
The hook.
Did he say that she actually came for a whole year?
Yeah, he didn't say. I'm guessing she did, though, if he goes on to tell the story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I wonder what she's doing right now.
Crushing it.
She worked for the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's just a backing for what knowledge you do have with whatever business you have. Yeah, when you do read it, I just feel like it's kind of a backing to whatever knowledge you have, and you can kind of build on it through each article you read. Is his thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should we all read it before we record next week?
I think so.
I think so.
What is it, like a weekly, or what is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You guys didn't happen to hear that, did you? No? Okay,
No.
good.
Unported.
Someone just passed gas on you.
And it wasn't one of us.
It was.
Millie. Oops. All right, so we'll read the Wall Street Journal. Got it.
Nice. So then our fourth one was the book he recommended.
Which we ordered.
Yeah, we ordered it.
Nice.
The How to Save Your Business by Arnold Goldstein. It is a little bit longer than that. Like there's a colon and then more, but that's the How to Save Your Business. Yeah. There was one other point that he had while we were talking that I wanted to bring up, but I can't think of it right now.
He also said that going to school is economic slavery.
Oh yeah. So then he went on to add, do you guys have student loans? And we're like, yeah. And and he goes, here, so I want you guys to look this word up for what you guys should have done with that money. What was it? Autodidact.
He's like, go home and look that word up.
Go home and look that word up. Autodidact. And it means self-taught is what it is. Self-taught person. But
how long did you walk with him?
We were talking to him for like an hour.
Yeah, it was like an hour.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And he was probably just as excited to tell you guys as you were to listen to him. Because if he said that he hasn't literally got a hello in 4 miles, like how many times a day does he walk and not like talk to anyone?
Yeah. I just couldn't believe it that happened to us though. Like
we decided to sit on this bench.
The prime subjects for that conversation.
Like, we're your best listeners, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You actually don't know.
Sorry about the education. Quick, I was just gonna say that for us, or for me, anyways, I think I wouldn't have done it another way because I wouldn't have met you guys, and I feel like I wouldn't be doing this type of thing. I would be a very quiet person.
Yeah, it's just a serious, everyone's staff.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was just gonna say it's like you literally have no idea who you're gonna meet by just saying hello and smiling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially now when you said like people were veering away from you almost or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like since I've had it now and I've been on like walks every day, I feel like I've been veering away because I know I'm infected and I shouldn't be around people. But I was telling Mikey, like normally I'm like want to walk as close to them and be like, hi. And like for me, going away from people was so weird. Like, and that's everyone's mindset right now is don't look at someone, you might get sick.
Yeah.
But now maybe is the time more than ever that we need to like say hi and connect.
Yeah.
So I remembered the other point that he had. You made me think of it with that. He said, whatever all your peers are doing, if you want to be successful, go the opposite way.
That's awesome.
Wherever the mass is going, wherever the majority is going, go the opposite way.
And then he said, you guys are in your 20s. The best thing somebody in their 20s can do right now is get into business.
Yep. It's the best thing because there's a lot of misfortune happening right now. There's a lot of businesses failing, that sort of thing. You need to be looking at these businesses and seeing what, like, you could buy these businesses, you know, if someone has the like, these businesses are willing to get out of it for very, very cheap at these times. And that was his takeaway there.
That's cool. Yeah, because there's probably people that have been in business for a while that are over it, and this is a good time to be done.
Yeah.
Or people his age that are like, all right, I'm done. I can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was, so we wanted to share that wonderful individual with you guys because we think that would help some people out.
Do you think you'll ever see him again?
We tried to look his business up.
I got it down to like 2. Like, there's not many like restaurant supply wholesalers in Duluth, so I got it down to like the 2 that I think. But I was just basing it off the websites.
Yeah.
So
I think if you could find him and literally just send him a thank you note, he would like, oh my gosh, he would probably call you and make you come for 2 hours to read the whole thing.
That's what I was trying. That's why I wanted to find him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and of course, in the moment, you don't ask like their name or anything. You're just,
we didn't even learn his name.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
That's awesome. That's stuff you don't think about though when you're in it. You're like,
you're just going.
Yeah, you're just in that. Well, we were just in that happy mindset of just chatting with someone, and it turned out to a great business conversation.
That's terrific. Just say hi.
Just say hi.
You guys are both on a little adventure too, which is like you were probably both of you and Cal and him in a total different mindset than if you would have been just like sitting in a coffee shop or.
Yeah.
What got you out that day at that time?
What
was it?
Well, so the section of the trail that we were doing went around Bentleyville, and it was the opener of Bentleyville. So I wanted to be going later so that we could see the lights turn on, even though we missed that. But instead, we were sitting there talking to that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were sitting on the bench with them.
Yeah.
Oh, I was picturing you guys like walking the lake walk for an hour. Got it.
Yeah, so we were sitting on the bench. Kel was feeding Millie, and he was just strolling by.
Got it.
And so the other funny thing was, you guys will like this, it was like getting really cold. Like Lee's fingers were white by the end, like dangerously white. And this guy was going on and on and on. And we didn't want to leave either because we were loving the conversation. But he said so many times, his line was, and the thing is, and the thing is,
and the thing is,
and every time he said it, I was like, all right, this is his wrap up.
Yeah.
And he said it like 12 times.
So then I started, each time he would say that, I would make a move, you know. I would like I stood up the one time, and then the next time he did it, I grabbed the backpack, and then
The thing is,
because you don't just want to abruptly say you gotta go, so just
Right.
slowly, gradually did that.
but when he finally did go, it was kind of abrupt. He like said something and then he like sped off.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
But then like we get down the road, like I don't know, a couple, maybe less than a quarter mile, and I'm like, he probably already forgot about us.
Yeah.
No. You're probably the two people he remembers.
Because you got to chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Yeah.
The thing is.
He also said, so he didn't even. Oh, Millie was under the blanket because I was feeding her, and he asked us like if she was a boy or a girl, but the way he asked it was like, so what'd you get out of the deal? And then he goes on to explain, because he had one son and then 4 daughters, and he's like, oh, daughters are so much easier. Daughters are kind of like cats. They're self-sufficient. What else do you say?
They take care of themselves.
They take care of themselves.
They don't.
They'll ask for attention when they want it. And then he's like, sons, they're kind of like dogs. They're stupid. Blah, blah, blah.
They make a mess.
They make a mess. They don't clean up after themselves. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So, moral of the story: talk to strangers.
Yes. Well, yeah.
The thing is.
The thing is.
The thing is.
Oh, what a guy.
That's
There we
awesome.
go. The title of this. The thing is.
Yeah.
The thing
Dot,
is,
dot, dot.
The thing is.
Okay.
Hey everyone, nope. This has been Adventure on Purpose.
What's your purpose? Oh, I like it.
Oh, nice.
What's your adventure?
I like that a lot.
Do that again.
Did you?
You ready?
I'm excited. Do that again.
Say it again. Oh no! What's your purpose?
Do we answer?
No, she's saying it to you.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like, see ya!
See ya.